welcome to another edition of 2-Minute Photo Tips. I'm Julie from Ultimate Photo Tips, and this week it's Critique Week. So I have to send out a very big thank you to one of our readers, Patty House from South Africa. She very kindly responded to my call for images and sent in a beautiful flower photo for comment. So as always, please remember, these comments are just my opinion. They're not an absolute truth, but I do hope that I can offer up some food for thought that you might be able to apply to your own images. So let's dive right in and get started.
So here we are in Lightroom with Patty's beautiful flower image. And anyone who knows me and who knows my photography knows that I love images like this. Soft focus, close-ups of flowers. And this one is really nicely done. So there's not a lot for me to say in terms of ways to improve this image. I will give you a couple of suggestions for things that you might want to try. All right, the first one has to do with cropping. The image, how it stands, there's a lot of negative space around the flower, and I feel like the flower is just on the verge of feeling a bit lost within the image. So my instinct is to crop it in just a little bit, right? So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go in the crop tool, and I'm going to try an 8:10 aspect ratio. You don't have to pick any particular aspect ratio, but I think that's one that's going to work for us here. Now, what I'm going to do, if you notice down in this bottom left corner, there's a little bit of a gap in the background material. So I'm going to adjust my rectangle to kind of hide that and have the stem starting almost out of the bottom. And that gives me a little bit of room at the top of the image where I prefer to have it. Right? So that's the crop that I like. Now, one other option you could try for cropping would be a square. So let's take a peek at what that would be like. All right. Actually, just the default there looks pretty good. Now here, for sure, we've come right in on the flower and drawn attention onto the flower, no question. Now, this is personal preference, whether you like this crop better or one that has a little bit more room. I like to have a little bit more room. This is now starting to feel a bit too tight for me, right? So I'm going to go back out to the last one with a bit of space at the top. I actually like what's happening in the background there. It's nice and soft, but there's some gentle shapes defined there that echo the shape of the petal. And I like to have that little bit of breathing room. So this is the crop that I'm going to pick. Now, the other thing that I would suggest is that yellow in the background. I like it very much. I like the warmth of it and the warmth of the green. Those two colors together give a really uplifting feeling to the image. Nice warm sunny day kind of feeling. So I like that, but I do find that yellow is very, very strong, and it's beginning to overpower the flower a little bit. Because it's such an intense yellow, and yellow is one of the colors that draws our attention quite a lot and is quite powerful to us, it is pulling attention away from the flower a little bit. So what I'd like to do, I'm going to come over to my saturation tool here, and I'm just going to go into the yellow itself and desaturate a little bit. Okay, so come down somewhere around here. I still have that warm feeling, but now I don't find the yellow quite as overwhelming. It's a little bit softer, still in keeping with the overall image. All right, now I didn't check the exposure yet, and I look and I see this is sort of a light feeling image to me. So I think we could handle, there's a teeny bit of room at the right side of my histogram. So I'm going to bump up the exposure just a little bit. See if I can go any further. No, I don't want to clip anything. We'll stay there, right? Brighten it up just a bit. Now, between that change of exposure and the desaturating of the yellows, we've lost a little bit of the punch and impact of the image. So now I'm going to go and add a little bit of contrast. Now, I don't want to be too heavy-handed here because this is a delicate feeling image. So I'm just going to try what the default medium contrast does. Right? I like that, right? It's just perked up the image that little bit to bring some life back into it. Now, you don't want to be, like I said, too heavy-handed. Look, if I went in here and you can see on the histogram I have room at the left side in the blacks. If I start dragging that out, now it's getting very harsh. I'm kind of pulling saturation back into the yellows, and this it just looks too contrasty now. It's not in keeping with the mood of the image. All right, so I'm going to back that off Want to keep it nice and delicate with just that little extra bit of contrast. And that's it. I like the image now. I think, maybe you could sharpen a little bit just to make sure that the little hairy bits on the back side here are tack sharp. But other than that, beautiful.
So once again, a big thank you to Patty for sending in her image, and thanks to all of you for watching. That's it for today, but please come on over and visit me at ultimatephototips.com. Make sure to sign up for my newsletter while you're there. That's where I share ideas and inspiration that I don't share anywhere else. Happy shooting, and I'll see you next time.